Hey guys, it's Baban and I'm back with another speed drawing. In this one I'm going to be drawing some Sailor Moon stuff. Now please no spoils in the comments, I've only watched the first lot of it. I'm slowly getting through Sailor Moon R at the moment. And what I wanted to do with this was try and redesign them in my own style, because I guess I complain about anime style quite a lot. But yeah, here we go. What I really wanted to do with this was focus very heavily on trying to work out perspective and also see if I could do this curved kind of 5-point perspective so that we get these nice round shapes, and it's a little bit like fisheye lens. So that's what I'm going and setting up right now just to figure out what I want to do with it. I did try looking for rulers like that in Clip Studio Paint, but it does not seem to have them, so I've just used the rulers for all of the straight bits and then kind of blocked everything out like this and then done the lines just with the curve tool as I've gone and cleaned it up. But there we go, I've made my little grid of all of the curves that I want to put in. Another thing I wanted to do with this was, as I was watching it, I was sketching them and figuring out how they would look if I drew them. As I'm drawing more different stuff, and I guess different fandoms as well, I'm kind of getting past the point of trying to replicate exactly what they look like and get it like perfect. I'm starting to have a lot more fun messing about with changing the character designs and the costume designs into shapes that I find more interesting. Something that I really don't like about the way they're designed is that they all have the same exact kind of suit, maybe minus the hair and the shoes. So I wanted to see if I could do something more interesting with the rest of them that gave you a little bit more of an indication of their character. Also, please excuse Fam. That nice picture of Fam over to the left, when I originally started this, I left a reference for another commission that I was working on, kind of up on the screen. So I had to cover it up. Just on the video, I want to cover it up because it's not really relevant to this. They're just going to sit there and cover up the chat though. It's fine. Anyways, we're getting into doing the perspective. I went and found a whole bunch of reference images of Tokyo so that I could go and add in some different buildings. There's a lot of really fun shapes on them actually. What I've tried to do with this as well is leave in as many mistakes as possible, because I went and redrew a lot of things a lot of times. I had to set up a lot of different perspective rulers that were going in different directions that would go and line up with the different planes on the front of the buildings. I try and go and put stairs in on the front of one of these at some point and it doesn't work and I have to erase it and redo it also, but yeah, I learned a lot from it. It was very frustrating, but I did learn a lot. Also, people tend to ask how long did I spend on something. I think this was around 30. I think it was 30 hours, maybe 31, because I spent a while kind of redoing stuff near the end. I wanted to redo the clouds because I didn't like the way that they looked. What else was I doing? God, yeah, it really is just buildings for a long time. I kind of did the sketches for them and then I went and found like I went and found a reference image of them, all in the different poses. It's kind of stood together. You might have seen it around the start as I was getting all the refs together on it. But I found that and I was like, you know what, let's do a redraw because then I get this excuse to go and work on buildings. So that's what we're gonna do. I think this is the point where I start to get into do those stairs. I think I redrew a lot of this also because I wasn't keeping the scale kind of consistent. I think it might be slightly off for everything, but yeah, that kind of annoys me a little bit, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. The scale is definitely something I need to pay more attention to. I was just like, put them in the foreground, draw city in background, good. So I think I might have ignored that a little bit and it kind of annoys me. Yeah, all of these lines going vertically have to adhere to this curve that I've set up because I do not have a curved ruler. They are all just going to give me straight lines. I have to go and do them all manually like this. So I'm trying to be really, really careful. When I set up this white grid that you can see in the background that's given me that exact curve that I need to follow, I mirrored it. So it's the same on either side. It's also given me a better idea of how leaned back they want to be at the front when I actually go and draw them in. But yeah, it did get a little bit frustrating trying to do it all freehand. I think later I realized I have a curve tool, but I used that mainly when I did the line art just to keep it clean. I think that needed quite a lot of redoing though. Like every time I did the line, I was like, that's a little bit off, let me redo it. But having that grid in the background kind of let me calculate any in-betweens of where they would be, where the lines would want to be. I think it turned out pretty consistent actually, considering I did all that freehand. I'm not too annoyed with it. Yeah, oh man, look at me I was really trying to get these stairs to work. I was really trying hard to get those to work and they were just not having it. I think what I figured out eventually was that the way it was, it would carry on into a point if it wasn't for that kind of slice out of the side of the building that makes it face diagonally. So there wouldn't be any room on the inside for those stairs to actually exist. That was what was looking wrong with them. I knew there was something wrong and it took me so long to figure it out. It's like everything past the front of it did not make sense. There would not be enough room for stairs to do the thing where I was going and putting in little dots where the stairs were and where you know, so I could tell where the gap was. Oh, look at me really, really trying with that. I'm like, no, it could join up here. That would make sense. And then it just goes bad. Then it just goes bad. I will delete it all in a hot second. Oh, there I go, trying to do stuff with the other buildings as well. I think what I did with those was kind of leave them for a little bit until after I'd done all those other ones. Or at least done a bit more on them anyway, because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do on these. I do it like one by one and look through the references that I've got over on the left. I did try doing that just to blank the sizes out so that they were consistent. I've got a lot of things. You probably saw the little menu that I brought up over on the right side a second ago. It has a lot of things in it that are just blocks or lines, because once you've got that, you can kind of pull it in and free transform it and get it to fit to whatever you have in the perspective. So I could just go and put it on top of those buildings, since they don't have too bad of a curve down the side, so it wasn't going to warp those lines too much, so I just kind of went for it with that. What else am I going and doing? God, I'm still on the sketch for this. I kind of did the sketch a little bit tidier though. When things are very, very tight in the perspective like this, I think it's a little bit easier to get it first go around on the sketch. It's just those vertical lines you can tell are very, 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 very scratchy and slightly off as I draw them in. There I go, adding a bunch of windows though. Oh yeah, oh no, I know what I did. I went and repurposed the stairs and put them on this one because I saw them on one of these references. Where is it? Yeah, it's that one in the bottom left right now. It's like, I really like the look of that going around the corner. I like that it's got something that isn't just either vertical or horizontal. It's got these little diagonals in it. I really wanted to get that in there. And I actually managed to get it to work on that because the building shape was right for it and it could just kind of go around that right angle at the side. So I think I was quite happy with them. That was one of the little bits in it that I was like very happy with, that I managed to get the stairs to work. I was just being very stubborn. I was like, when are you going to draw these again? Just make them work now. If you're going to do it, go and do it and make them work. Have a good fight with it and get it to work. I think at this point what I was doing was looking at them, and the sketches were still really scruffy. You can kind of see them in the middle looking a little bit squiff in comparison to everything else now, since there's more detail happening. I didn't want to start them until I got to the background though, because if I stop and change to something that I'm already comfy with, like characters, I just won't want to go back to doing the other stuff. So I was like, no, you finish those buildings first. You finish the buildings. I tried to get the Tokyo Tower in the background as well, because that was in the reference images, or the reference image that I am sort of doing a redraw of. So I wanted to make sure that was in there. I'm pretty sure it's actually in Sailor Moon as well. I remember seeing it in there, and I specifically wanted to bring it in. I don't think it's super clear at the end, but it is there. It sure is there. There's so many nice little building details that end up completely covered up by everyone at the front. I'm kind of okay with that though. I went and cleaned everything up very nice. And then by the end, it was all just covered up. But I did get very good practice out of it. And that was kind of the point. I could have just been lazy and not drawn in anything behind them. Or not drawn in the bits that were directly behind them on the buildings. But, my god. It actually ended up being quite a lot of fun. But once I kind of got okay with it. Oh god, sorry. I got the hiccups again. But yeah, looking at all them refs and picking out little bits of designs that I liked and kind of working them into it and figuring out how they worked and why they worked, even though it was a bit of a fight. It was very fun. Oh, here I go tidying them up also. I'm going to start with Saggy in the middle. I think what I did with the initial sketches of these as well, just because there's a little bit of overlapping and that can get a bit confusing, was do them all on different layers. You might have seen it where I was turning all the layers on and off and it kind of goes brrrt, like through them as they turn on and off. But I also go and do it with these ones that are a little bit more cleaned up. I don't go and clean it up anymore after these. I tried to keep them very clean and tidy. I really did try to, and also to fit them into the perspective that was on the go, and keep the kind of stylization with them. What was it? Early on in Sailor Moon, I think when Rei turns up, she's a lot taller than Usagi. I've got a really bad habit of just referring to her as Saggy now, so that's probably what I'm going to end up saying through this video. When Rei comes in early on, she is taller than Saggy. And I was like, okay, so Saggy is short. She's like a little short kid. Like short and pesky, I think is what she kind of comes across as. And then they bring Mako in. And she has to be taller because that's sort of a trait she has. So they make Saggy and Rei kind of the same height. And that annoys me. That annoys me. I wish there was a little bit more height diversity. I think there was a few characters that would appear in the classroom as well that had more distinct or different body shapes. Not so much designs, they just kind of looked normal. They weren't like main character, weird hairdo kind of thing, but I was convinced for a little bit that they were going to be a little bit more relevant, even though they never were. Which disappointed me a little bit, because I'm a very big fan of having very distinct character shapes, I guess, or a lot of diversity in the shapes and characters, and like I say, they're all kind of built the same, which I can understand because it's animated and, you know, they need to keep it somewhat consistent so it's easy to redraw a bunch of times, but you know. Also, I think my style is a lot more cartoony. It's a lot less anime-ish. I wanted to actually be able to make them look like they were probably 14 or something. Like I said, especially with Saggy being kind of short. I wanted to give them shorts also, speaking of shorts. I don't like the skimpy shorts on them. I know it's Japan. I understand it's Japan. That still weirds me out. It weirds me out quite a lot, especially since I'm trying to make them actually look 14. I was like, no, you all get shorts, thank you. You all get shorts. What else is going on? I purposefully also was trying to draw the undersides of the chins on them, because something that really annoys me, if you guys have seen some of my older tutorials, where I'm talking about the anime shovel chin thing, where they don't really draw the underside of the chin, they just kind of extend the front of the face and make it longer, rather than actually treating it like a 3D object. That kind of confuses me. That kind of confuses me a lot, and I was like, no, okay, we're going to purposefully not do that and draw it from a down-up kind of perspective so that we can draw the undersides of the chins. I thought it'd look kind of cool with this fisheye lens thing going on as well. Ooh, that was something else I wanted to do. I'm not sure if you can see it right now, but on Ray's shoes, I was trying to get the little Mars symbol. And I go and do that on everyone else's shoes as well. Because, like I say, that's one thing I do really like about them, that they've got kind of different shoes. I suppose most of them anyway. But I thought maybe I could make them a little bit more different, or maybe incorporate the symbols that they have a little bit. I think it's very strange that those are not actually anywhere in their designs. I feel like that's a bit of a lost opportunity. Especially when you can just put them on the shoes, even if they don't fit really anywhere else. I think they kind of were too awkward to fit anywhere else. Oh, was I thinking with Mako? Yeah, man, I remember being about 8 or something, probably 7 or 8, and I used to go to this football club. And I think it was between like 6 and 15, the ages that you could be when you joined. And there was this one really buff girl that was like 14. And I'm pretty sure she kicked the ball right in my face one time. I was like terrified of her because she was just like a wall, just big beefcake. And she absolutely like mashed my face with the ball this one time because I was like too scared to actually do anything or move. And that's all I could think of with Mako. I was just like, make her beefy as anything. Like she could kick a football at you and just absolutely ruin your face. Also, by that logic as well, I gave her some little shorts. I guess instead of a skirt, I tried to make them still look a bit like a skirt, but it's kind of like 2 skirts joined together in the middle, and then they fray out. But they still have the pleating. I wanted to make them look sort of like boxer shorts, and also give her the same kind of shoes and little fingerless gloves and stuff, because I think that kind of fits with her. I think as soon as I saw her shoes, I thought that they looked like boxer shoes, and I was like, yes, okay, she's big and beefy and she will beat you up. Yeah, that's Mako. Also, I think I move on to Army in a second. I was trying to do them so that it was everyone at the front and then move backwards to the ones that are maybe a little bit more obscured. I did try to get quite a lot of overlapping on this because I thought it would look interesting, rather than just kind of having them stood exactly side by side. I think that makes things look a little bit more flat. Oh, there I go putting the Jupiter symbol on her shoes too. I thought that would be really cute to have like maybe a little Velcro bit that would flop over at the top and just make it the little heart shape. I thought that would be really cute. Oh yeah, here I go with Army. What was I trying to do? I know I mentioned a little bit earlier, a minute ago, I mentioned that there was one character in the school that wasn't really relevant at all, but I expected her to be because she was like very obviously a different shape. And she's kind of like short and dumpy, and I was like, oh, this character's really cute. I hope they become relevant. But she never did. She never did, and that kind of annoyed me. So when I was drawing Army, I was like, you know what? It'd be really cute if she was the same kind of shape, and they'd just like use that instead. So I was like, yeah, let's make Army like short and dumpy because I think that's adorable. I tried very hard not to make her look like one of my own characters because she's got, I guess, the same kind of body shape here. I think that's what that little random bit of sketching at the side was me explaining how I draw the other hair. Oh no, I like robbed the hair off of one of the old designs of my character that's got the same kind of body shape as her. Those little, I think I called them banana shapes that are at the side of her face that just kind of twist around. I really like drawing her hair though. I think that's something that I do like about some of the Sailor Moon designs, is that there's a lot of round shapes. Not everyone has really straight, pointy hair like you would usually expect. I really like Saggy's hair. I really like it. I think it looks super cool. It's like really iconic, obviously. I kind of already knew I liked it, but oh man, the way they make it flow and move in the animation looks really neat. I particularly like actually some of the stills where they try and convey motion in them, but it's just a still image that they will put on for a second and do like a pan and a zoom on it. Those look super cool, and I need to go and find them because, oh, some of the movements in them look really fucking cool, and I need to study them. Oh, now we're drawing, what's this one's name? I always forget her name because she was the last one to show up. Mikano? Is that it? Mikano? I think that's her. What I wanted to do with her was, I don't know. How did I describe it? When she turns up and it's like, oh, it's Sailor V. I kind of assumed that she's like the better version of Sagi. So I wanted to make her look sort of like a big sister to Sagi, because she's got the same kind of hair color and everything. So I was like, okay, make her really like tall and skinny and kind of dainty and, you know, just that kind of look. I also really like the idea of giving her sandals because I could work the design in like really easily. Also the little hoops on her skirt and everything. I'm really excited actually to find out about more. I'm pretty sure there's more like Sailor Guardians that show up at some point. I think I've heard about a Sailor Neptune. I don't know what they look like though. I don't know what any of these other people look like. I just know about these lot here. I'll find out as I watch it though, and I'll probably draw those as well with something else maybe. Because I won't be able to stop myself from designing them differently now that I have now that I have these designs. I'm not gonna be able to stop myself. Oh, what was I trying to do on? Oh, it was Ray that I really liked the difference in costume design with, because I thought it was very dull to just have her in a regular kind of skirt and everything. So I was looking at the pants she has when she's at the shrine, and I thought, you know what, you could very easily work that into a skirt and also give her a little excuse to have her I'm going to call them exorcism slips because I'm not sure about the exact terminology for them. I thought it'd be really cute if she had those as well. I think she's the only one I didn't give gloves also, because I didn't think they looked right. I wanted to give her see-through sleeves because I thought that would look cute. I was also doing some more see-through stuff on Army over at the side, so she kind of just got shorts and like a see-through skirt that's like a really bright blue, because I thought that would look super cute, and she's got frilly little sleeves on her shirt because I think that's cute too. Oh look, there we go. All the lines are done. All the lines are done. Oh, and the moon too, just to center it. I also wanted to draw the cats in, but I guess I was being really slow with that and didn't put them in until this point. I was trying to figure out where they should go for like a hot while, but I guess it just took me a little bit to figure out that they just want to go down in the corner, and that's fine. So that's where they end up. Oh man, it took me a while of getting them in the right kind of perspective. Just making them look really silly and awful. Oh, they looked so bad the first time I drew them. I think they tidy up as I clean them up now, though. Just silly little bean shapes that I need to tidy up. Another thing, I don't know if people are going to get annoyed about it, but I did change some of the colours on them, or I will be doing later. It's kind of very, very close to the end, but I do things like change, I guess, the kind of greens that are on them. Maybe the reds a little bit and the blues. I didn't really like the very deep tealy green that is in Army's hair on the reference that I was looking at. So I brought that more towards just a very dark blue, because yeah, that's not a nice hair color. I don't have good associations with that as a hair color. So it does not need to go on Army because she's too adorable. She's too cute. There's a tidy little cat. There we go. He's looking a lot better. I think that's Artemis because he's over on the side that Mikano is on. And then Luna on the other side. I'm just looking like a bit fed up with everyone, I think. I think. Oh dear. What else do I go and do on this? I think I get to the point now where I'm going to start going and working on doing the lines. And of course I go back to doing the background first. I kind of tried to swap it between very heavily focusing on the background and very heavily focusing on these lot. What I usually try and do is really, really focus on the background, because if if I don't know what's going on with the background, then I can't fit the characters into it. So it usually benefits me more to work on the background first. And then go to the characters. Oh yeah, here I go with the curve tool look and trying to mirror it on this front bit. Trying multiple times to get it where I want it to go. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Just like a little roof, just a little rooftop. Yeah, comfy little rooftop. And then we're gonna go and do each of these little lines with, yeah, this is definitely using the perspective ruler because it all comes from the same point over on the horizon that goes back there. Like you can see, it kind of follows those white guidelines that I've put down because I went and grabbed the same exact ruler, which it kind of makes it look like I'm doing it freehand, but I'm not. You can see with that bit as well, I've put in a different ruler to be able to do those diagonal fronts onto those buildings that are going like that. And then pulling it out down there, getting a little bit of texture in there. I do a lot more on the roof later, I think. It's kind of like really close to the end. I went and added some details in that made it look a lot better. Like putting some tiny details that just kind of obscured the background a little bit. A bit more overlapping and stuff. That's what it was. Filling in some of the gaps where it's gone a bit weird because it's mirrored. Yeah, just, oh man, so many lines. I feel like I kind of got used to doing backgrounds a lot more with this though. Like they obviously take a long time. Well, what do I do? Usually, if there's something I know I want to tackle, what I'll do is pick something like this and list out the things that I can do with it. So like, for example, with this one, I know I want to work on character design stuff and get better at that. I know I want to work on backgrounds. I know I want to work on buildings because I don't really draw those very often. So I was like, right, okay, I'm going to make character designs for them. I'm going to make them look like I've designed them, kind of try and like improve on it. I'm going to see if I can do a lot of buildings. I'm going to try and work with the perspective rulers some more and get used to those. I'm also going to try and see if I can do this curved perspective with the fisheye look and get that to behave. We're going to try, I guess, awkward details on buildings like those little stairs and everything that I struggled with. Everything like that. And also putting characters into that perspective as well, actually. That was something that I wanted to do. What I also ended up trying later as well was a different way of doing shading. Now it still looks like cell shading, but I'll explain that when we get to it because it will be blatantly obvious when I do get to it. I spent a lot of time fighting with that, actually. Like a lot of time. I think I redid it. I did it once and then I didn't like it. And I could feel myself getting lazy and just thinking, no, leave it. Just leave it like this and keep going. But I knew that would make it worse. So I redid it and it did look better in the end. It did look better in the end. So it was worth the time sink to make it a little bit better. Yep, there I go with more of these bits. I know this is on like so many different layers as well. I could not even explain what is going on with all these layers. If you actually look into the menu down the side, you can see all of those little blue triangles. The little corner, the little right angle rulers. Yeah, each one of those is a different ruler that I'm using for a different vanishing point to put onto these buildings, which is just so much fun. I spent so much time just flicking through all the layers trying to find them. Trying to find which one I wanted. Oh, it was so much fuss. No. Oh, also you can see me putting all of those verticals in. And it being a little bit slower because I put the straight line down and then I have to curve it. That's probably easier to see. But as I'm putting in those straight lines, it just kind of goes, because that's just me drawing the line in, and it's clipping, or it's snapping to the ruler, I mean, so I don't really need to think about that too much. I just need to make sure I'm putting it in the right place and, you know, not dragging my pen too far over. It might have been a little while since I've watched Sailor Moon as of me narrating this, actually, So I might not remember everything perfectly, but oh man, one thing I remember in particular making me laugh was that zoisite. I never know how to pronounce that. Zoisite? Zoisite. That guy, the little twink man, the little floaty twink. I think that's what I was calling him as I was watching it. At some point, he just starts saying "zoit" like a Pokemon, and that made me burst out laughing every time. It's so cheesy, and I love it. I think it's incredibly funny. It's very funny, just zoit. Ooh, all of this is starting to come together now. It's starting to look a little bit nicer. You can see me going in and erasing some of the bits that aren't necessary anymore from the lines that I've drawn in. Just tidy everything up. I think what I did by the end of it was, because I had so many lines and so many different layers and rulers with different vanishing points, I went and merged them all down and then copied the layer that I had from that was just a flat version, then undid it again, because I didn't want to get rid of the different layers just in case I spotted anything that was off. I didn't think that I did, and I don't actually think there was really anything that was too off, but I didn't want to get rid of it just in case. Also, sometimes I go digging through my files like after again and kind of see how things worked on whatever it was that I was doing. I guess I can just go through my speed paints though, but yeah, I do like rooting through old files occasionally. I've kept some very old ones. What was I saying? I kind of went off on one there. Yeah, everything's starting to come together now. But yeah, once I had that flat layer with the lines, I was able later to just change the color of all of the lines. That's what I was anticipating, was that I would want to go and change the line color. I tried very hard not to do it on the characters too much. I think there might have been a few little areas, like I'll usually do the eyes as part of the line art and then paint the colors into them, because I can lock the line art and it will stay within the shape that I have put down. But with the background, there's just so much of it that I didn't want it all to be like very, very solid black. It was a little bit harsh, so I think I ended up making it dark blue so it blended in with the atmospheric color a little bit more as it went back, especially further back into the image, and blended a little bit in with the sky. Few more little details. I think maybe what I go and do, yeah, that's what I did. There was a lot of the little spots that I filled in. You can probably see that I haven't gone and drawn in anything like windows, really. Everything's just kind of the flat front. Maybe like a few little bits have got indications of windows, but a lot of it is just kind of a flat surface that I go and paint the windows onto later, or kind of make a shape and then warp it onto it so that it fits. I think it was actually more like just me going and redrawing using these same rulers and putting those windows in. That's definitely a thing that happens later though. I also went and added more random little details onto some bits like this here, adding more of the windows at the side. Or I guess you'd say it's another part of the balcony that just goes off to the side a little bit. Even though it's all going to get blocked out because armies stood in front of that one, I think. Yeah, you're not going to see any of that, but I drew it in anyway. Guys, I drew it in anyway. You can see it on the speed paint. You guys get to see it. Sneaky, cheeky bonus content. That's the one. Yeah. A few more little bits in the back. Oh god, this really does just go on forever, doesn't it? There's a couple more minutes of this, and then I get to doing the lines on the girls at the front. Oh, there are a few little bits as well you might be able to see on this building that we're looking at now, where it's kind of doubled up on the lines down some of those bits that have got a little bit extra weight to them that come out down those vertical strips. Because I wanted them to have a little bit more depth, but I didn't want such a tiny sliver that was defined by two lines, because that just kind of looks nasty. So I just decided to fill them in on the line layer and make them quite chunky. There I go, putting an extra little vanishing point and everything in so I can draw those other lines that way. yeah, it's pretty much looking like it's done. I feel like on a few of those buildings at the back, I got a bit lazy and just was like, okay, just make it look like a Rubik's Cube. Just draw the verticals and the horizontals. I got like a little bit bored with them. I'm not sure if that annoys me or not because, like I say, it's kind of at the back and doesn't need to be super detailed. Anyway, yeah, that one is really Rubik's Cube now. That looks kind of bad. I know I go and delete some stuff off it later, but ooh, that looks kind of bad. And I tried so hard, man. I know that you can get away with simplifying stuff as it goes further back, but I don't know. I feel like in comparison to at the front where we've got these buildings that are very, very defined in the shapes that they have and kind of unique on each individual one. Yeah, the contrast of having those more boring looking ones next to them as it goes further back just starts to look a little bit lazy to me. I don't know. That kind of annoys me. I think that's something I struggle with quite a lot. Like, how much detail should I put on this thing that's like way, way, way at the back? I think it's maybe just because I work in lines though. If I was a painter, I'd be able to just indicate it very, very slightly and be done with it, but I insist on defining every little plane with lines. I love lines. I hate lines. There I go with the Tokyo Tower. Now with that, I was like, there's no way I'm lining this. There's too many awkward little details. There's absolutely no way that I'm lining that. Hell no. So I just decided to go and block it in like that and do it in the same way. Like I said with their eyes, what I'm going to do, because I've got the line art, I can just go and lock it and change the colour of it later. And, oh, here we go with Saggy's hair. I really had a problem trying to draw a fringe at first. I think maybe I didn't clean it up too much on the sketch, but I did get it eventually. It took me a couple of goes. Also the little, I don't really want to call them ringlets. They kind of do go like ringlets right at the end of her hair, though. I struggled with those a little bit, just trying to get them to curve along with the movement that her hair was doing already. I guess not too bad though. Am I redrawing her hair? Why am I redrawing her hair? It looked fine. Oh no. Oh, you know what it was? I think it wasn't tight enough because when I think of her hair, I think of very 80s permed hair where you get those really pulled up high little fringes that are very bouncy and curled over. And I think it's incredibly cute that it gives her that little heart shape in the middle of her forehead where her hair curves around, so I really wanted to try and exaggerate that and make it look very, very 80s. I didn't want it coming down over her ears too much. Oh, I also tried to make her ears stick out a little bit because I think that's cute. I think that makes her look more pesky and silly. Maybe a little bit like Mousy. A little bit Mousy just because she's small. I thought that was kind of funny. Oh, also on a skirt, something I really tried to do was change up the shapes in the pleating on the different skirts. So I decided to make the ones on Saggy a little bit, a little bit more rounded so that they weren't exactly the same as everyone else's. I know I did the ones on Mako very sharp because they're supposed to look lightning bolty. That was my logic anyway. That was the logic I was trying to go with. But I thought it would look a lot cuter being rounded on Saggy. Oh, another little design choice I kind of like as well is, I don't really know what to liken it to. I used to do it a lot on actually the same character I was stealing the hair from to give to Army. But doing kind of wide feet like this, so there's kind of wider at the top, skinny in the middle, and then they kind of widen out towards the bottom as well. I used to do it with hands too, but I kind of like that there is a lot more weight like down on the bottom of Saggy as a character design. I think it kind of weighs it out because she's got this really big silly hair. She's got really big silly hair. She's got these buns on the top of her head. And I was like, you know what? She needs some really big silly shoes. She needs really big silly shoes just to balance it out because just like visually, in terms of visual weight, oh, that's a term I'm going to start using and it's going to make me sound awful, isn't it? It kind of balances it out. if there's that weight down the bottom. I don't know. When I design shit, I kind of think of it in terms of physical weight and how it would move. Even though I guess if you animate or illustrate something, you can kind of make it move however you want. But I think it would look cool if it looks like she's got a lot more weight down in her shoes, just to balance it, just to balance it out. That probably sounds like it makes no sense. That's okay though. There are little earrings. Little earrings. I didn't want to do them as a solid chunk. I kind of like that design choice when you get it in cartoons, where it's just like a couple of little dots to indicate that there's a chain or something. Ooh, also, what's this one called? Oh, I've just... Ray, that's her name. Ray, that's it. I really like this shape you can get when you can do like a peaky fringe. Peaky, is that what you'd call it? Where it splays out like this and kind of curves around. I think that looks neat. Like if you try and flip your hair the wrong way and it doesn't want to do it and it just sticks out. I was kind of thinking of that, but I like that it could be very smooth on the top. So I tried to smooth it and round it there, but make it a bit more pointy in terms of the ends of her hair. I think I forgot to line the back of her hair also, so that ends up getting put in later as a solid chunk. There I go with her skirt and stuff. Yeah, what was it with her pants? They had this little bit of pleating on them, did they? No, the pants didn't have pleating on. I'm stealing that from the other skirts, but I'm using the same kind of shape as the pants and just making it shorter. Also, the bit that ties around her waist and had a bow at the back, I wanted to pull that into it as well. Like, once I saw that design of her being in that, I was like, that is so much more interesting. She's got, like, her own little kind of costume design. I guess even though it's not really much different than, you know, kind of traditional stuff. I don't know. I don't know the exact, like, context for all of that, but I thought it'd be really neat to bring that through into this as well to reflect, like, that aspect of her. I think that's a lot more interesting. Like I say with her sleeves, they're gonna be see-through as well. That's why I've got a whole bunch of lines going on with them. Oh, and Mako! Oh, I really love doing Mako's hair. It's so fun! I've got this thing now where I like drawing hair very much like a ribbon. Very, very much like a ribbon. And also kind of alternating between making it look pointy and making it look rounded as I do it, which you can probably see in the way that her hair flips kind of over and, you know, around. It's got like that seam along the edge of it. I really like doing that. I think it's because I kind of did it with some sculpty stuff and I've drawn like that before, and now I'm just like, yes, I'm going to do this on everything, everything ever. I think I might have made her a little bit too buff at first, and I had to like calm it down also. I like that I managed to draw her hands looking okay. I feel like I'm getting a lot better with hands, actually. Which one annoys me? That one on Saggy's hip kind of annoys me because it's not quite right. It probably would have looked better if I pulled it down. Had it a little bit more foreshortened. Oh, something else that I really wanted to do on Mako as well was in a lot of the official art and actually in the anime, the green on her is a very mid-green, and I really don't like the way that looks because especially since her secondary colour is the pink that I think she has on her bow, I knew it would work really, really well with a green, but not the mid-green. That just looks a bit off to me, so I wanted to make it more of an emerald green, and that actually helped a lot because it brings it more towards that sort of weird tealy colour that you get in a lot of 90s things. I did try very hard to make this look very 90s as well, but we'll get to that with the colours. Anyway, lots of lines. I think I was purposefully trying to keep the lines very thin as well. That's something I'm trying to work on lately. And get a little bit better at. It is a little bit of a struggle though. It is a little bit of a struggle to do that. I think maybe I'm too used to using really big brushes, or maybe not really big, but just kind of chunky. I'm also very into using line weight as well. I think especially when I started out purposefully trying to improve my lines, and getting into doing a lot of line weight, I spent a lot of time making everything really chunky and just like doing layers over the top and adding to it and making it look really interesting, I think. And I'm trying to fight that off now a little bit. I'm trying. I'm trying to do the opposite now, which is just make the lines thin, not to outline anything too much, and just wait to define the shapes, not with lines, but with the colors and the shading later. What I really need to do is just indicate where some of the stuff is, and not be tempted to draw like too many lines to define every little curve. I guess you can see it when I draw faces. I have this temptation to draw like the lines at the side of the face and around the cheek so that I can define that curve from where it goes to front facing to side facing, just because it makes it a little bit easier to understand. I definitely need to start doing that on a separate layer that I can get rid of though and just have it as notes. I tend to get annoyed though if I draw something like lines and then I do not want to get rid of it. Once I've done it, I do not want to get rid of it because I feel like I've wasted my time then. So I think that's the fight I'm having at the moment and trying to get used to. Trying to get used to the idea of just using something as a guideline and then being happy to delete it later. I think, oh, you might have noticed earlier actually with Mako there, that I redrew her face because I did not like it the first time, which is again something that I'm trying to get used to, is drawing something once and then if I don't like it, being happy to just scrap it and redraw it. Or I guess I didn't scrap it, I moved it over to the side as reference. But then redrew it on her because it was not quite at the right angle that I wanted. I find that I do that quite a lot actually. It's like as I tidy things up, they tend to gravitate more to an angle that's a little bit safer and easier to draw and maybe isn't as difficult because of the perspective. So I really try and keep a watch on that because I can usually get it down in my very rough sketch and not have a problem with it. But as I clean it up, I think my brain is like, oh, you're trying to do this, right? You're trying to do this thing that you can already do very, very easily. And it tries to take the easiest route, and that really annoys me. That really, really annoys me. So I'm trying to catch it out now and just be like, no, you're going to redraw that. Absolutely not. I'm trying to retrain it so that it just doesn't pull that shit on me anymore. At least I hope so anyway. That along with like practice will hopefully sort it out. There I go with the sandals. I didn't really want to do too many lines on those, but it seemed to be the best way to do it, because it would just be easier to go and fill in later with the fill tool. I feel like I made Miko maybe too big. Miko? Oh, have I been saying that differently each time? I probably have. Minako? It's Minako. Yeah, it is Minako. Mikano is like some kind of chalky biscuits that we have here. They're like sticks with chalky on there. They're like Pocky. Yeah, that's oh no, is that Mikado? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, here we go with the cats. Here we go with the puss cats getting sorted out. There we go. Little beans. I really like drawing cats like this, actually. I feel like I've developed a style just for drawing cats. Somehow in kind of a chibi style, I guess, by just drawing them as a bean shape with a tail and then a little head. And then a little head. Sometimes it annoys me a bit because on actual cats, their forehead is kind of just like back. It's like what would be the top of our head, so their head kind of goes back a little bit further. And then the spine kind of joins pretty much right onto the back of that, and the top of their head swoops just down into the spine. And when I try and draw these chibi cats that have got like kind of a human proportioned head, that really messes with my brain and is difficult to convince my brain to work with. It's like it sets off alarm bells in my brain, and it's like, this isn't what a cat looks like, Baban. This is not what a cat looks like at all. What are you doing? what are you doing? But no, I think they look fine. I think they look fine for what I'm trying to do. It's just the idea of a cat having the same kind of head set up as a human, and like I guess a more vertical spine coming from their skull. That weirds me out, because cats have a really nice curve to them. It's kind of like you have to redesign the whole animals slightly. Oh, what else was I doing? I was really fighting with the hands. I don't think I tidied it up enough. This hand on Saggy, and also the arm and the other hand on Minako. Minako, that's it. I can't wait for people to correct me on saying Mikano. Wait, no, isn't Mikano like a game? Isn't Mikano a game? I don't know. I can't wait for people to correct me on that in the comments, though. It's fine. Oh, and look at that. As per usual, I left all the eyes and everything until last. I think there was a little bit on each of their faces that I wasn't quite happy with, so I go back and redraw some of them and fix them. That's another thing I was fighting with, because I was purposefully trying not to do the shovel chin thing because I don't like it, but I've also been fighting lately between just drawing the faces and things like mouths accurately onto a 3D form, or seeing if I can get away with drawing them as something flat. So I tried to do it on Mikano, but it was Minako, but it was not working. I also kind of tried something, I guess, in the middle on Army, and it just wasn't looking quite right, so I have to go and tweak it a little bit. Oh, I tried to give them all different eye shapes as well, because I think that's really cute. I think they ever so slightly tried to give them different eye shapes, actually, in the anime, but it didn't carry very well, I don't think, or it didn't look very different. I had a bit of an issue with Ray's eyes because I couldn't get them in the right place also. Oh man, you know when you just can't draw the other eye in the right place? It's kind of weird looking at this now, because I remember like maybe 5 years ago just like really fighting. Oh look at her face, man. I really butchered her face for a while. I think I eventually figured out that her nose was too far down and there wasn't enough room for her mouth, and that I had to go and fix it. It starts to clean up now, look. Yeah, as I actually work it into like a shape. Look at me trying to carve it out. God, I really hate that I do that. See, that looks a lot better. I think I end up giving her orangish lipstick because I think that's cute also. I thought it'd look nice with the rest of the oranges on her. I can't remember the other thing I started talking about now. Oh well. Yeah, still trying to clean up Ray's eyes. I think I like squiffed the perspective slightly, but oh yeah, that does look a lot better on Minako. A whole bunch better. That other hand on her at the top as well kind of bothered me. I think I forgot to draw in Saggy's gloves as well, or at least that one on the one side. I had to go and redo it. And then also the eyeballs on the cats, yay! Oh yeah, I think I was mentioning like maybe 5 years ago I would really struggle with a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now. I think this is the kind of style I wanted to draw in for like 5 years ago actually. Because there was like some artists I used to be like super jealous of, and it'd make me like really angry that I could not draw to the standard that I wanted to. And it's just kind of funny. It's kind of funny to think about that now. And look at this, that is kind of what I was aiming for. I mean, I can see that it's not perfect just because, you know, it's me now, but if past me saw this, past me would be really pissed off and jealous. I think that's really funny. Screw you, past Baban, you nerd. Hey, also, hey, here we go with a colouring. Or at least blocking things down, I guess. Oh yeah. Oh, I think I went through a lot of it for people on the stream as well. That's probably what you can see with all these layers turning off and on. And trying to pull out the background and select it all and fill it in. Oh, and also the little bits that are going to be see-through, there I go, putting those in too. Like the skirt and the sleeves on both of these two. And there's the other one on Ray as well. It was just those bits on those two. I was thinking about putting some on Minako's, skirt, but I ended up not doing that. I just left it solid. There I go with some funky colours also. I was trying really hard with the colours on this one actually. That was another thing I really wanted to work on. Like I say, there was kind of a different style in which I was trying to do the cell shading, but we will get to that later. I just wanted my base colours to look nice, so I tried super duper hard on them. I'm going to go in with the light colours first, and I'm going to try and pick some real nice ones. I kind of don't like Saggy's hair being too bright yellow, so I tried to make it a little bit closer to sunflower color because I think that's really cute. It's also quite 90s, I guess. Kind of like sunflower yellow and also just lime green. I tried to bring a little bit closer to a lime green into her hair later with the highlights, actually. Or kind of teetering on it, where it's just that edge between bright yellow and where it's going into that lime green. A lot of this gets filled in relatively quick, actually. I tried not to use just a white for all of the pale colors as well. I tried to tint it slightly towards blue. I guess just to leave room for highlights and stuff. If there's too much bright stuff in there, it's gonna compete with the highlights and not look great, and it's gonna kind of get in the way, so I didn't want to do that. Also, this it's kind of red. I think I fought with the reds a little bit because it's very hard to make those look nice. I tried to bring them a little bit more towards pink. You know what I really like though? These colors. This green, which I think I fought with a lot more, but it ended up looking a lot nicer once I went and put the shadows on, because I could go and use blue next to it and make it pop and look a bit more emerald green, just in comparison with that shadow on it as well. I really like relative color when I can get it to behave. When I get it to behave and know how it works, it's fine. When it's working against me and I'm fighting it, it's not fun. Mako, I wanted to make her hair like almost, I don't want to say like almost silvery, but like very, very pale, kind of straw colored hair, just so it's different to Saggy, because they're kind of similar in the actual anime. I think they're like way too similar and it annoys me, so I just wanted to make it different. A bit different. I did try that darker kind of blue-green hair on Army as well, but I did not like that at all. The rest of this, I think I put some of that color on. I think I did. There was like a bunch of different blues I used on Army to try and get them to work. I also tried to make a lot of the little blue-green details on her shiny, but that will be a thing for the shading later also. Oh, now we're into trying out the shading. So there's this alternate way of cell shading that I found out about at one point, and what you do is copy your flats and then you color correct them to make them darker, and then you just put a mask on and erase it pretty much, and then it gives you like lights and shadows. And I just kind of kept messing about with the colors to see if I could get it to do what I wanted. I was also trying to put it on different layer modes, but I did not like the way it was looking, so I ended up leaving it on normal. And it all kind of looks a bit muddy and not nice right now, and for a good while, actually. I don't know why I just shifted to dark theme. I think it was so the lights on the buildings would like brighten up a bit more. But yeah, here we go, filling the background in. I've sped this up a little bit more as well, so it's easier to watch, because it's just fill tool. It's just a whole bunch of fill tool at this point. There I go, erasing some more lines that I ain't got rid of yet. I tried to use pretty much the same group of colors. I think minus the light colors, there's maybe 3 or 4 different gray. Yeah, there's like 3, 4, 5 different colors. Just to mix it up a bit so that not every building is the same color, but they're all kind of neutrals and like slightly red, brown, kind of gray, blue. It's all that kind of curve. We've also got a little bit of an overlay that is orangey at the bottom behind them, because I think it looks kind of neat to have all of the streetlight stuff that would be kicking up a lot of the light. I think that looks real neat. Just have a little gradient and then have it very, very blue at the top. It's very light polluted in the background. That's what I'm going for. It also washes out the values because it's bringing everything a little bit lighter down there and letting them at the front have more contrast and stand out more. What I also did with the background was the same thing in terms of putting in where those shadows were so that it will block out like this. So I did another layer of the same thing and changed the colors on it and then just started carving it out so that we've got this main chunk of light coming from down the front, from like right behind them, and then everything else is a bit more shadowy off to the side. That method of shading is actually starting to become the basic way that I do everything now. It's a little bit of a step up from doing what I usually do, where it's just putting one layer of color down and then putting gradients into that and having it maybe on a hard light or overlay layer. So, you know, now instead it's just basically flat colors that I've tweaked a little bit. It's a bit easier to specifically pinpoint one color that doesn't work quite as well, because that tends to happen a lot when you just do overlays. You'll kind of go in and put one color over the top and it doesn't react the same way to all the colors, so you don't always get exactly the thing you want. But I can control it a bit more like this, and then also I just need to go and do like another layer of overlays on the top to get any kind of gradients that I want in. But it's helping me to maintain my values a little bit better and get them how I want them to be without having to do a lot of awkward little selections underneath to change base colors. And get that to affect any overlay that I would have put over the top to do the cell shading with. Anyways, here I go with putting all the little windows in, or I've kind of done a few in the back and then I went back to doing these at the front. How did I do it? I'm not sure if this is the point where I've done the second version of it. I've just come back to recording this, so I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I did it like once and then didn't like the colours and tried to change them and, you know, tried to, I guess, redo it. Is this me redoing it? Oh no, that's me changing the background. Also messing about with the lighting in the front because they were kind of looking like they were floating for a while there because we didn't have any lighting on the floor. Oh, so many layers. Okay, no, this is where I came back to it because I can see that the setup's changed. It's gone back to light theme, so this was me trying to tweak it and get some better colors because as you can see, when I make it really purple, it makes everything very purple. I guess it's, you know, the same kind of issue I was running into. Like I said before with the old way of cell shading that I was doing, where it just makes, you know, it doesn't make everything consistently different in the values that you want. I could get it too. I think I maybe didn't wrangle the RGB channel quite as well, which is just what changes the values, that one. And it just made everything purple. I kept trying to change it and going back into that menu and tweaking it a little bit and messing with the colors like I'm doing right now. But yeah, no, it wasn't working. So at a certain point, I end up giving up on it. Well, I keep it, but I give up on messing about with all those sliders and decide to just go and do it manually. And change the colors in it that are not looking quite right, which I think was quite a lot of them. Here I go doing more background detail though, just because the front of all of these were looking a little bit bland and I had to go and add in all the railings that wanted to be in the front. I got a little bit heavy on this one, so I think I go and remove some in a hot second, but I'm just doing that with the line tool as well and doing it kind of as an overpaint thing on its own layer, so it's a little bit easier to do. There's nothing I hate more than having to line something like this, where you just got so many lines. I absolutely hate it, so this is usually the way I go about it. I guess I don't do anything detailed enough with buildings to want to go and do every single little line on something like that, so it usually happens as an overpaint. Not sure what I was trying to write down and explain there, so it sure was something. What are we going to next? More lights on the buildings. I think at the same time with these as well, I'm using those rulers that I had on just where I've drawn the lines in on the buildings. Basically, I've grabbed them and copied the layer so that it's still got the ruler on it, and that's let me just go in and draw these lines in where they need to be. Nice and comfy, so I don't have to be guessing at it and just, you know, kind of rolling the dice again. I think I merged it all down afterwards though, because I didn't want a whole nother set of where all of those rulers are, or all of the layers with the rulers. Trying to keep these kind of consistent, plonking them in. But like I say, we've got the right kind of edges to be drawing with that ruler in, so I don't need to worry about those. It's just more the verticals. Again, you can see me going and cleaning up there with my line tool as well. I think what I was gonna do as well was go in and change some more of the light colors on them, but by the end of it I just kind of liked it in the blue and yellow. I think they work okay with it, and you get a little bit of like difference in the colors on the buildings as well. Just, you know, just to light them up a little bit different. We're gonna get some more in here. I think I've gone and copy pasted those layers again, so I've got them rulers nice and comfy. Sorting out the, it really would have helped me to do the verticals first. I got very much into just doing those sideways lines, since the rulers would follow them, and then trying to do the verticals, but that just made it more difficult and more awkward because the lines were kind of throwing me off. Ooh wee. Oh, so much fuss. Look at how much fuss this is. I would have lined them as well. I would have, but I decided not to because, like I say, there's just so much. I didn't want to be stuck with a bunch of dark lines like I usually get and then have to go and change the color of them. That annoys me so much because I would have. I really didn't want to have to go and change the line color on any of this. Like I say, I did with the background, but I didn't with everyone in the front. I just left it black because I was just trying to just keep it skinny enough to where it wasn't going to interfere with the colors. Yeah, that's actually what I'm trying to do lately, is just make my line art a lot skinnier so that it's not dulling my colors down as much, and I can get away with just black line art because I see a lot of nice art and the lines are just, you know, flat black. They don't have any kind of tint or color to them, but it doesn't interfere with the colors, and I think the common thread between all of that is that they're just very thin. They're just very thin and they don't interfere. I suppose when they get shrunk down quite a lot as well, that the anti-aliasing that would come from that would mean that the colours would kind of merge together a little bit. Anyways, we're going to skip ahead on a little bit of this. We just got a few more little bits of the buildings to do. I think all I was doing was adding a few more lines over the top of windows on a few little bits of it. I left most of it on there though, and then we're going to go back to these lot in the front, and you can see me mucking about with the layers again like I always do, checking my values to see if they're where I like them. And actually I think what I did, oh no, there I go messing with the colours again because I can't decide. I've got like the two versions and I'm just like, oh, which colours do I want? And then eventually I'll like give up and start going and picking my own colours. I think I started sorting out the shading a little bit first though, like I'm doing right now, where I'm trying to carve it out a little bit better, because I'm doing it with a mask anyway, so even as I'm carving it out, it's not actually removing any of this colour underneath, it's just putting a mask over the top of anywhere that I am erasing the dark bits and you can see the light bits through. So that means I can just go and hit the fill tool and it'll fill in like the whole area of wherever that, you know, wherever that base colour is underneath, because it's basically just a copy of it. So that's going to start happening in a hot sec. I'm not sure when, but I know I started going and doing it whilst I was in the middle of cleaning it up. That's usually what I'll go and do though, is if I'm stuck with something like this, I'll just start going and cleaning up what I can. If it's not going to affect what I can change later, like in the colours, isn't going to change them at all. Doing a little heart shape on Saggy's hair. I wanted to make sure that was lit up a lot because I think it's really, really cute. I think that's adorable. Please excuse my chair like crunching right now. And the keyboard flopping. Oh, like her skirt too. I thought it'd be really cool to have her skirt so it was like, I kind of want to say like a taco, like a taco shell shape, but not as flat at the front. I just thought that would be more of an interesting shape, so it's kind of like down at the front, sort of, but it like splays out at the sides. I kind of like the silhouette of it being like very out like a tutu. I didn't want to do all the tutu stuff underneath though, because I thought that might look silly. Ah, there I go, picking colours. There I go with the nice orange. I guess kind of a nice orange. One thing that I really could not get was specifically the dark blue that I wanted on her skirt, so I had to mess about with that quite a lot to be able to get the right color, but I think I did eventually. I was also trying to account for that gradient of orange that I've got over the top. You can see me turning it on and off occasionally and seeing exactly what color I've got underneath, or trying to like grab it again because I'm thinking, oh, I want a color similar to this for something else. All of the skin colors I tried to pick separately. I don't really like giving a bunch of characters exactly the same skin color. There's a lot of like tiny little variations in it that you can do to make it look interesting. So some of them are a bit more pink, some of them are a bit more yellow. Kind of anything that falls between those two in terms of like the kind of undercolor of the skin can look pretty nice, as long as you don't, you know, go too far either way and make me the sunburn or whatever the thing is where you get yellow skin. What else am I doing? What else am I doing? I had a little bit of a fight with Minako's hair because I was trying to get it a very, very light yellow, but I had issues with making the hair kind of brown in the shadows. I know in the chat while I was drawing it, people were discussing how when you when you paint blonde hair, the colors you want to pick generally are more towards like green, because it's just very, very light yellow, so it sort of moves over towards the green side on the color wheel. And if you eye drop blonde hair from photographs, then in the shadows it's usually very, very, very close to where green is starting to just seep into the color. So I kind of tried to bring it that way, but with that orange overlay at the bottom, I think it made it a bit more brown and made it look kind of like dirty blonde, which I wasn't really trying to go for, but that's how it turned out. And anything that doesn't have a lot of saturation in it as a color is very difficult. Very, very difficult. I'm finding it increasingly difficult, I mean, to shade those things and pick the right colors, because if you go too far towards one thing, then it's going to look funny, or it's going to start taking on the color of the color you're trying to tint it with if it's too strong. Mako's hair I could not get quite right. I don't think I very much like this purple that's in the shading on it, but I think I go and replace that later with a different color. Ooh, and then I think we're going to move on to a skirt, or I guess shorts. I kind of like them as shorts better. Oh, I also didn't add a lot of detail into their ears for a long while. I kind of go and do that in the overpaint. I didn't want to make them like too realistic because I thought that wouldn't fit with the style. I maybe put a bit too much detail into them later, but it's not too bad. That's just kind of a habit. I struggle to stylize ears for some reason. There's certain shapes that I don't like in them that I see a lot of people kind of stylizing them with, where it's very simple, sort of circly shapes. That's not my kind of dealie. I like all the little intricacies that are in the shape of an ear. That's probably just because I made a big fuss of learning the shapes that they have. But yeah, oh yeah, Mako's legs, them chicken drummers, and then we go to the skirt. Now I really like that blue that's on it. I really like the kind of pine green, or not pine green, it's very emeraldy green. It's very nice. And it goes with the sort of teal that's on the rest of it. That's what I'm trying to do. Is just get nice shading colors that really make the other ones pop when they sit next to each other. You gotta make them colors pop. Gotta make their booty pop. Not in oh god, not in this. I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying that now. Not in this. No booty popping here. No booty popping here, no. Oh, more legs. More painting legs. So much leg painting. It's just, then again, Mako is like 90% legs. Like, no, that's fine. She is like 90% legs. There I go with the rest of Minako. Yeah, what did I say I was going to do? I was going to make those stripes on her skirt so they had like net on them and were kind of see-through. But I thought it was a little bit too high up. It would be a little bit dangerous since I've drawn it from this angle. And I didn't really want to... I didn't want to make the shorts on it as long as I've put them on everyone else, because I thought it would look silly with the long sandals. So I decided to leave that out, but now I'm a little bit worried that she looks like a traffic cone. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Just a little bit. I thought her hands are alright. I did pretty good on the hands on this one somehow. Like I say, there was a few little bits that I don't like too much, but hey ho, hey ho. She does look very kind of 90s, kind of 80s, 90s colors with these the kind of deep blue, purple, and the orange on her though. I think they kind of work with the color schemes that I'm trying to go with. I was very much trying to gear it towards that kind of look. I probably didn't get it exactly just because I always end up with stuff looking a bit more towards my own flavor of how I color things, but yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I feel like a lot of people tell me they like the colors that I do, but I'm starting to get the feeling that they are, in fact, a little bit babyish. I don't know if that's the best word to describe it, but that's what my brain's telling me. I very much like doing, like I say, those nice kind of warm skin tones that you can put into the shadows and just get them to make the lighter colors pop just by the contrast between them. It's kind of how I shade emotes. They are shaded to be very easily recognizable. And clear and contrasty, and I don't know if that is affecting my stuff a lot, because I do try to go for very bright contrasts so that things show up well, but I also feel like that stops me from doing more subtle stuff, and that annoys me. Like if I tried to draw something with very dull lighting, I would probably just end up going, nah, this isn't working, and cranking it all the way up to 100. Maybe basic and very widely appealing, or safe maybe is a better description of the colors. I am fighting to try and get color schemes to work, but I do feel like they're a little bit safe sometimes, or I tend to fall into particular complementary sets of colours that I know I like and know will work together, rather than maybe experimenting a little bit. I do think I'm improving. I do think I'm improving on colours, but yeah, maybe stuck in a bit of a rut with them. They've kind of been annoying me for a while because, like I say, I feel like I've improved in making them just kind of generally appealing and getting those the shadows and the highlights to work together and getting them to sit well in terms of color relativity, making them do what I want. Now I just need to widen that out a little bit. I just think I've let it go a bit stale for a while, and it's just kind of starting to annoy me just right now. I'll wait until it annoys me a little bit more. I'll try and do something a little bit more different, and then once I can't get it to work, then I'll get really pissed off and try and figure it out. Ooh, that was what I was trying to do on Army as well, was make her very shiny. I thought it would be really cute if a lot of the stuff on her was really shiny, because the kind of dark green, the kind of dark greeny blue that's on her, like aquamarine, the dark version of it, where you can see it in the shadows. I thought that would look really, really nice if it had this very bright, saturated colour over the top of it in these little shiny spots. It always makes me think of... I'm not sure what the material's called, but there's some material where it's like very, very sheeny and shiny, or even like iridescent plasticky stuff. It makes me think of kids' toys or kids' backpacks and things. That's the kind of thing I was trying to do with the values on it. Also on her bows as well. But yeah, just nice iridescent colours. Maybe I should have put a few different colours in there as well. That might have boosted it up a bit more, because usually you'll get it going from like purple to that kind of tealy blue. Maybe a little bit of pink as well, or yellow or green. Just that whole kind of side of the spectrum, and it's very, very pretty. Very pretty. Ooh, we've also got stars on the go now. And the way I like to do stars is I've got a little star brush, and it's very, very much just a star icon, if you could see it when I was zoomed in. and it can get a little bit harsh on some things. Sometimes it just does not look nice. Because of that, if you want something a little bit more realistic and softer, it's better to go with maybe just a point, but I thought it worked well on this, so I decided to go with it. And then just put a little bit of a glow with the airbrush over the top of any that I wanted to make stand out. Put a little bit more glow around. I really like doing stars like that, it's super fun. Trying to get them in clusters is very difficult though. I had to change the brush size quite a lot. What I've just gone and done with that edge light on them as well, I was going to bring it kind of inside the forms of them so that it was eating away into the silhouette, but I decided to just put it outside around the edge of them. And it is going to get erased a little bit later so that it doesn't look as stickery. There I go, putting my notes on in terms of what else I need to fix as well. Oh, so many, yeah. Got all the little notes, wow. Oh, there I go, trying to do the clouds as well. But, oh boy, what was I talking about? Oh, I forgot. I'll remember in a second. Anyway, doing the clouds. I have this thing about doing really nice swirly shapes, and I thought it would look cool if I managed to do that with the clouds on this. I did want them to fill in most of the sky, and I was struggling to get them to behave because everything in this is very symmetrical. It's like very symmetrical. And I didn't want the clouds to be, but it was making it look off. So I tried for a while to get these swirls to work, and that bit over on the left was looking okay, but I think that's because it was kind of going in the same direction as the buildings in terms of it, you know, getting a bit smaller further back and coming forward. It was sort of on, you know, a similar plane but higher up, it looked like. And oh yeah, I just could not get it to work, so I was trying to reduce it a bunch and put gradients in and just change the wobbles around, and then I was like, no, delete this bit and, you know, try and mirror it on the other side but not exactly, and then it just kind of started looking like stink lines instead. Because it's got this kind of yellowish colour. I was trying to get it as though the light was coming up and bouncing off of them. I don't think this wasn't like perfectly symmetrical. I was still trying to make it slightly asymmetrical like this, but, you know, just in general, sort of following the symmetry. I think I go and copy one. And see if it works, if it's like exactly symmetrical as well, but that did not work either. This just was not working. This was just not a good move, and I couldn't get it to behave. I thought it would make it look maybe a little bit more kind of Japanesey if I gave it these swirls, but yeah, that just was not doing it, like, at all. So I think I'll leave it for a while and come back to it when I can figure out what I want to do with the clouds. I kind of just let it sit there and be ugly and let it annoy me. I'm also putting in another ruler for where the light source is down the bottom, and we're going to bring back these shadows coming from their feet like that, and they're not going to be too much, just a little bit, and we're going to darken the back up some more. It doesn't quite jam like perfectly with the lighting on them, but I thought it looked neat to have it kicking back because I think it was on the reference image. Oh, there I go, trying to fix the clouds with different colours. I guess that doesn't look like too bad, but it's kind of distracting. I don't know, the swirls are kind of distracting and I don't like them. There I go, trying to do it again. Oh my god, how many times did I do these clouds before I just gave up and found a better way? How many times? Yes, I just keep going. I am so convinced that I can get those swirls to work, and they do not work out. Which kind of annoys me. To be honest, that kind of really annoys me. I was so convinced I could get these swirls to work and look nice. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe that's just too difficult of a question for me and I could not figure it out. I think at one point as well, I was going to keep a little bit of them and just reduce them like this, like they are now. So that they're not as contrasty and not as distracting from the rest of the image, but no, it didn't work. At some point, I'm going to go and put texture down on this front bit that they're stood on as well. At some point, not quite yet. Oh, there we go, zooming in on them. Oh, this is when I get into doing the highlights. Look at that. I was trying to use a slightly green one on Usagi's hair just to make it really light. You know, since I was talking about blonde hair kind of having slight bits of green in it. Slight bits of green in it. I wanted to see if I could get it to work in the highlights to make it lighter. And it kind of did. Kind of. Not too much. It did make a very nice light yellow though, to be fair. It did. I think it's an overlay layer. Is it glow? Oh no, it's a glow layer. Yeah. It's just kicking up a lot of colour because of the colour underneath. I did try doing it in a more pale one, but I couldn't get it to behave. Mako's hair needed a few more darker colours in it just to carve out where we've got like the undersides of it, since it's very ribbony. Oh, it looks like I'm doing it on Sagi's hair as well. Yeah, I am. I'm doing it on Sagi's hair too. A few little bits that just needed like extra shading, because, you know, sometimes just the cell shading doesn't do it quite right. And you need a few more extra little bits to make it look nice. Just extra colours. What else are we doing? Oh, we're sorting out all these layers of the material on Army. Now, because it's transparent, it needs to double up in some places. So where it's just thin in one place, it's like one layer of it, and then I was duplicating it and just erasing anywhere where it's going to be doubling up. So you can see where it's got like 2 or 3 layers of it, and I'm just carving it out so that it thickens up. It's just the same layer though, just the same colour. So it's, I guess as it would be in real life if you were to overlay a couple of layers of it by folding it. Some highlights on Mako's hair as well. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put highlights on her hair because I've kind of used the base colour as highlights on the back of her ponytail, but you know, it was kind of just full on lit up in the front, but I think it looks okay as it is. I think it looks okay as it is like that. Some of that lighting around the edge I tried to go and fix on them as well. I think I wash it out from the bottom to the top because it doesn't want quite as much around the bottom of them because they're just lit from the front. It's more the top of them that's lit from the back with all those city lights that will be coming up ways. Also little bits of shine on her shoes. The shoe shines were real fun. They were like real fun to draw. Oh, that's what annoyed me too. All of these highlights on Minako's hair were very difficult to get in because it's just too light, and then I try and go and add more shadow onto it and it just turns brown. Aww. You can see the ever so slight tint of green that I did try and put in it, but yeah, or like I say, all of that orange over the top just kills that immediately. I did kind of get the highlights to show up on it. They're just not very strong because it's so bright. What else do we have? Oh man, so many like little picky bits. As I was going over it as well, I was trying to clean up all of the little edges of that yellow around them, because the way that I did it was by copying just the layer of where the flats are on them and then duplicating it and making it entirely yellow, and then enlarging it ever so slightly and moving it like up a few notches. Or I moved one up a few notches and one down a few notches, so they kind of overlap weird in some places, or they don't quite go where I want them to, so I have to go and paint more in, or, you know, get it to overlap between the characters actually is one thing that I had to go and fix a lot. But it got done. You can see me painting it in around the edge of them just now, actually. Just now. I think around the middle too, I tried to bring it more towards that yellow that is in the moon so that it would join up with that light and kind of look like it's that the light's coming from a little bit more, and then it changes to a bit of a duller one as it gets further away from it. It's a little bit more of a pastel yellow. God, there's actually so much of me tidying this up just because it doesn't catch everything when I do it. Or it's a little bit strung around 2 edges. Or not 2 edges, but like some edges, and it just needs taken down a little bit, like I'm doing on this hair here. What else are we doing? What else are we doing? This is getting to where it just kind of looks finished, and it starts to frustrate people in the chat that I'm, you know, probably taking so long on it. Yeah, it's the point where everyone in the chat starts saying, oh, this looks nearly done, Baban, are you nearly done? And I'm like, no. Oh, I fixed the shine on Army's hair too. I tried to make her hair like as shiny as the rest of the little details on it because I thought that was cute. I thought that was cute to give her really shiny hair. I also remembered to actually fix Ray's hair at the back. You can probably see now that a lot of those shadow colors have changed from what they looked like before. When I just had that purple on, it doesn't look like I've just gone and hit all of the, you know, all of the correction layer stuff now to try and make it super duper purple. It actually looks like I've individually gone and selected all of the colors, which I guess I have with, you know, most of them at this point. Probably, I want to say like maybe 70%, maybe about 76% of the colors I've gone and picked manually at this point, but the base purple ones kind of gave me an idea of where I wanted to go or what kind of value I wanted to stay within, because as I was checking it, I was like, yeah, these are the right kind of values. Just a few more little overpaints. I think this actually is like overpaint layer now. Like, we're actually in overpaint layer now, and I'm just starting to do little seams and details, and oh, I'm washing stuff out as well. Ooh. That was something I tried not to do on this very much because I wanted to keep it very, very harshly cell shaded rather than going and doing all the little washies that I would usually do on top of anything, washing things out with the airbrush. Because it looks a little bit more cartoony like that. So, you know, the vast majority is like that. There's only a few little bits where I washed it out. Ooh, also on Army, I thought it'd look nicer to give her kind of copper-coloured little details rather than making them gold like on everyone else. It's just another little thing I thought would look nice. If there was any colours that I thought would look better if I changed them, I did. I just tried to keep the basic colours that are, you know, associated with them all on their costumes. Or the basic, you know, the basic kind of colour combos. It always annoys me that on Army she's just kind of basically the same colour all over, so I tried to make that green like a little bit more obnoxious. A little bit more obnoxious than it actually is. Oh, ooh, the seams on this too, and then little sparkles on her skirt because I think that's really cute. I've got some kind of fabric actually that I've got like offcuts of. I used it for some craft project like years ago. But it reminded me of that, and it had glitter on it, so I was like, you know what, Army's getting glitter. Here I go, trying to attempt to copy this text. Oh boy, I tried. I'm sure someone, if someone's watching that knows, they will tell me how badly I've done this. I'm sure someone on YouTube will. That's what YouTube's about, right? Oh, here I go with the shoes. Yeah, this is just a whole bunch of overpainting as well. This is me on a normal layer, just grabbing the colours and painting them on. I wanted to keep the little heart shapes down the bottom though. I tried to do it like she's got tights because I thought that was like the best look, and I like the colours on it so much I wanted to make them look kind of shiny too. Because I guess tights kind of do that just because of the threads, and you get that little bit of sheen down them. I just wanted to make it extra shiny though. So that... Well, I thought the darker colours on the leg would stand out a little bit more, just in contrast to everyone else. And also look kind of neat with her skirt, actually. Yeah. I don't know. I can't really explain a lot of the designs. I've tried. I've tried. Like I say, I'm looking forward to finding out about new characters in it so that I can design those as well. It's a lot of fun. The cats as well. The puss cats. I decided to give them pink noses. I think I might have messed up on the eye colours on them as well. I guess unintentionally. I really like them with pink though. I like pinkish red. I think Artemis has got blue eyes. I know Luna has got red, but I preferred this look. I prefer the pink. I like kind of pink and white and the yellow of the little moon. I thought it looked neat. The little bald patches. The little bald patches on their heads. Is that actually what they're supposed to be? I'm kind of wondering now, like, what would they look like if they were realistic? Would it be some kind of, I guess, tiara thing? I don't know, not tiara, like a little metal charm on their head, or would it just be a bald patch? Okay, now we're starting to get into the last little bit because I'm drawing all these little aerials and stuff. I didn't want to leave the buildings without any of that kind of thing, and they're gonna look a little bit simpler because, again, they're too small to really be doing lines for, so I just didn't. I'm also making them a little bit lighter just because it's easier to see them actually against the sky. Since that's quite dark and purplish out to the sides. There is something still like off looking about these colours, and I know I go and tweak them with something over the top later. Oh, I'm still putting in little details like that too. There I go. Just all the little details because I wasn't happy with just flat buildings. They've always got little hoodiddlies kind of hanging onto the sides like all these aerials. A few more little blubs on the windows just to fill those out because they were looking a bit boring and flat on their own. What I'm also going to do now is make a very bad decision in terms of saving time because I figured out as soon as I start putting textures into a file, the saving time goes through the roof. Usually it will save pretty much immediately on my new computer, but ooh-wee, as soon as I put something like this down, it's just I'm going to be stuck staring at the screen waiting for it to save for a good 10-20 minutes. Depending on the file size anyway, which is just grand. I wanted to put some kind of grainy texture over the top though and make it look like kind of an anime screenshot because I've seen people do that before, but I can't remember exactly how they do it. I ended up deciding against it in the end and not liking it. So I just tried to use it in the buildings a little bit in the back and also on the floor at the front so that it's got kind of like a texture that they would slap on. I'm still messing with those clouds. Oh my god, I'm still messing with the clouds. They're so ugly. I know that when I go and fix them as well, I end up taking maybe like a few minutes and get them done. Oh, I'm testing out the blur on it as well because I'm going to blur the background out, as you can see it doing then as the loading bar was going up. That gets put on later. I know I did a test version because usually the way I'll do it is merge everything down and make a flat version of it and copy it so that I can still keep all of the layers for a layered version. And once I've got the copy, I will just apply the blur to that and then erase any of it where I don't want it to be so that the solid version shows through. Oh, here I go changing the eye colours as well. Now, on Army, I think she's got blue eyes as well, but I thought it'd be really cute to bring in those copper colours that are on her tiara and stuff and bring them into her eyes and just give a little kind of hazily brown eyes. I thought that would be adorable. I feel like that suits better. What colour are Ray's eyes? They're like purple, aren't they? I feel like she had too much purple on her. Purple and red is a very, very heavy kind of colour scheme, so I decided to give her silver eyes. We're going to stay the same with Saggy here in the middle. We're just going to give her some blue eyes, but make them a little bit of a different blue from all of the blue deets that she's got on her, so that they are a little bit brighter. Minako over in the corner is going to have more towards like green because I was looking at the colours on Mako's gloves and I was like, yeah, that's the kind of green that Minako needs because it's going to go with the orange that she's got. If you put orange and green together, that's going to look really 80s, 90s, especially if it's that weird kind of orange teal. It's also going to go with the red on a bow as well. And the last one with Mako changing her eye colour, I wasn't really sure what to do with it. I'm kind of waiting to see what colour I pick actually, because I can't remember. All of the greens and pinks on her were already really nice, and I was like, how do I improve this with another colour? How do I even fit another colour into this? Let's see what I choose. Oh no, is it yellow? Oh, it's yellow! Oh, she gets yellow eyes! Oh, that's cool! That's kind of cool! Oh damn, yeah, I like that, okay. I think that logic was like, it's analogous to the green and it's also complementary to the pink. Yeah, 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 that's what's going on. Yeah, I think all of their palettes or, you know, I at least tried to end up with their palettes kind of split complementary. So you've got like two colours that are kind of analogous to each other, and then you've got one that complements it, because I noticed with most of them, they'll have like one main colour and then a complementary one for the bow or something, for like another part of the design. Okay, now we're really getting to the end of this. What is there, 4 more minutes left? Now we get into the shit that I really don't want to do on it. The stuff that I really do not want to do. Putting more deets on the stars. Messing about with them, because I don't think they were shiny enough. And just everything else that I've been ignoring on this, mainly the clouds. Mainly the clouds, they are definitely going to happen in a hot sec. I don't know what I'm looking for through all of those layers. There's so many layers in this, oh my god. Like, so many. Look at me being a huge coward and just avoiding the clouds. And being like, no, I'll draw in more little banisters and things. I'll draw in more random little industrial looking bits to make it more like a city. Like, nah. Nah, keep going. Keep fussing and faffing with details, Baban. Keep running away from those clouds that you don't want to draw, you big wuss. Aww. No. Oh no, to be fair, I am kind of putting highlights on some of those little bits. I kind of am. I kind of am. Oh, and some shine on Mako as well. Eyeball shine. Oh, and pulling the light, and that's what I did. I pulled the light a little bit more into their silhouettes, because it was looking like stickers. Ah, I see. Yeah. See how it like rolls around the edge of them? I think this is the advice I try to give to people, because a lot of the time when you want to do edge lighting, but you're not very good at like defining forms, you'll just kind of do it right around the edge. But if you just bring it in a little bit and try and wrap it around the forms like that, it will do so much more. It will do so much more. Oh, this little bit, the edge as well, was a very good decision. I like that very much. That just kind of offsets it slightly. Ooh, did you see that correction layer over the top? Oh, the clouds are happening. They are finally happening. I think what I was trying to do was find a brush that I would like to be able to do them with. That would just give them a nice fluffy texture. Because I guess you can get away with a lot more with just fluffy textures than you can with them. Yeah, that immediately looks better. You can get away with a lot more with that than you can with kind of swirly lines. And I guess more graphic decorative stuff like those clouds. Oh, I did little shooting stars too. Isn't that fruity? Oh, that's hella fruity. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. I think I boosted the orange and a lot of the base colors as well with all of those color changes that I keep slapping over the top to check. A little bit more glow on the buildings, a bit of glow around the moon, bringing some of that kind of nice tealy green around it. I love that kind of gradient from like yellow to blue, where you got all the greens in the middle. Like, my favorite. It's where all my favorite colors live. What else? Oh god, I think I'm just picking at it now. This is actually me just picking and tweaking things ever so slightly until I'm happy with it. Oh, wow, this has been a long speed draw, isn't it? This has been a long one. I don't know what the longest one I've done is. How long was that porch one? Was that like 3 hours? Oh, there's What's-His-Face up the top too, because I couldn't forget What's-His-Face. There he is. He just got painted in. He just got painted in afterwards. There he is. There he is. Just a little bit of red in his silhouette. I didn't want to leave him out. I think the last thing I go and do is, like I say, go and merge everything down. On the background layer. And then get the blur on it so that it works out properly. Yeah, I guess I haven't been doing that many videos lately, but I'm trying to get back into it, I'm trying to get back into it. I've been streaming more. A lot of commissions, a lot of streaming. But yeah, there we go. We're done. There it is, start to finish. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped. If it did, give us a like, share if you think it'll help someone else, and subscribe for new videos on Saturdays when I have them to post. Every other day, well, weekdays, I stream to Twitch. If you want to come along and watch me on there, there will be a link in the description. There will also be links down there to everywhere else that I post stuff, as well as where you can get prints of stuff that I've drawn before, including this. I post about commissions and when I have them open on Twitter now. Seeing as my commissions keep kind of getting full up quite a lot, it's getting a bit difficult to keep up with. But I will post there when I have more slots available. If anyone wants anything drawn. Yeah, thanks for watching, lads. But bye-bye.